Hi, Neo.
Hi, Upile.
How did you feel about this project? Like, how do you feel now?
It felt like quite a mammoth task.
Mhm.
Um, this was me thinking for you, because I was like, whoa, girl, like, go get it. I mean, go get it.
I edited the poems, all 100 of the poems, and found the poets. And you worked on our brilliant cover. I think we were just having a conversation about collages, and it's interesting that the poets came up with the title "Woven with Brown Thread" because I think that's what collages sort of feel like. Different
Yeah.
things from different aspects of life being put together in such a beautiful way, in a meaningful way.
I think there's actually honestly a reason why so many people resonate with collages in general, like collage as an art form, is because I think it's how we all communicate with each other. Like a collage is such a strong symbol of collaboration, and how do all of these different elements that sometimes look like they'll work together, sometimes they don't, but how do we get them to kind of speak the same language? And I mean, that's exactly what you've done with this collection. Is you have so many different voices that you have to put together in like this cohesive way, and in a way that makes sense and other people will resonate with, that the poets feel seen and heard. So I think collage, like even when you said in the beginning, you're really drawn to this idea of having like a collage for the cover. And I thought that's perfect because it's firstly such a fun medium to explore. Like, I was literally cutting and pasting pieces of paper together, which I still think is weird, like that's my day job. But I think it's also just such a great way to bring like the essence of people together in one like thing.
It's funny because I feel like we sort of did the same job, but in different aspects. Like you were bringing together art pieces, and I was bringing together people. And it's weird. In my life, I recently started to call myself a curator, and I'm not even sure what that means, but I like the idea of gathering, the idea of community, the idea of sparking other ideas. I mean, bringing together 25 poets from all over the world, Black women and Black non-binary persons, was just so fascinating to me. I think when I came up with the Khala Series idea initially, it was always about mentorship, always about helping others. I understand like us having a platform to create and to, like you're saying, putting together paper, like this is your career. But for me too, like putting together words, it feels like such a privilege, and the chance to kind of bring on board other people who are so skilled at writing, who are not yet published, who are still trying to find their voices as a writer, has always been, was an exciting experience. I think even in you and I's relationship and working, I always try to figure out how do we collaborate without changing each other's perspectives entirely, like with leaving elements of you and elements of me in one project. I really want to know about your process. Like, I want to know what everything in this collage meant to you.
So it was a process of going back and forth, like going to the poems, looking at what each poet was saying, making a note of each of the poets and their poems, and saying, okay, fine, this is what this person is saying, and this is how I'm interpreting it, and then creating a visual to fit that. And little by little, I started building a story because I knew that I wanted the cover to carry some kind of narrative that spoke to what I was reading, that spoke to what all of these phenomenal poets were saying. So I broke it down, I broke it down into the themes that I saw. And I was so happy when I actually read the manuscript, because you had broken it down into like sort of very specific chapters. And I was like, oh my word, this is exactly how I felt it. Like when I was reading the poems, I was like, this is exactly it. I wrote down, body and ownership. I wrote down legacy, identity, Blackness, queerness. And I wanted all of that to come through in the cover. So it's all a series of symbols, essentially. I actually started with the groovy lady in the center. She was the first person. I played with her a lot. There was just something about how easy that movement was, that I really wanted to incorporate in the poem, because I think the ease of living, especially for a lot of us, like a lot of Black women, and if you add even more to that, Black, queer, like non-binary, the ease of living is so difficult in a society that tells you day to day that they hate you, and you have to create that ease of living for yourself, and I thought it's such a thing that we all strive for, that I really wanted it to be a part of this, because I think to even put pen to paper and say, this is who I am, this is how I feel, this is where I come from, all of that, to have you put down in words is a symbol of you fighting for your place in the world. It's a symbol of you fighting for that ease of living that we all deserve. There's such a strong presence of like legacy and inheritance in like these poems, this like generational thing. Like so many of the poems were speaking about grandparents and relationships with their own parents, and I thought maybe I should bring a little bit of that old into this process. So I went out looking for vintage magazines, which was so fun. I had a day in Melville, and I went and found like a few of these magazines, and I mean they brought such like a spark of just inspiration for me, because I was like, oh, it's like a time warp. But I think graphically and narratively they really just carried such a story. So that's sort of where I started, was just paging through these things, looking at how interesting those visuals are, because they're so different to what we see every day. Like it's so different to what you see on Instagram. It's so different to what you see in magazines that we actually have. So I would, start scanning those and playing with those. And I illustrate in general, like there was no way I would have done this without illustrating somewhere in there, because that's just how I visually tell stories.
I love that it pulls through in your work, and it also pulled through in how I had chosen the chapters, because I didn't ask anyone for, like, there was no themes, there was no prompt. It was just give us poetry and share whatever poem is dear to you. And somehow what is dear to us seems to be aligned with each other. We're in our inheritance, in things of the blood, and trying to figure out and where we came from and what that means in the future. We're inherited, and we're interested in our rituals, and that was the second chapter. Basically, our day-to-day existence, I guess, ease of life falls into that. There are poems in there about altars and poems about practices of being alone and just loving yourself, and then that falls into the next chapter, being, which is essentially a lot of what we're talking about, our existences in their entirety, as women, as non-binary persons, as Black people, as XYZ, as queer people, as however else, how we love, how we live, how we celebrate, how we eat, like that's what that chapter kind of included. And wound and tender were the last chapters. But I just love how we were like speaking to each other in a way, you working in your space and me working in my space, and somehow there's like a marriage between our work. I think with the poet's work on top of that, I think it's just a beautiful thing. It's easy to look at poetry or illustrations or this type of creative work and think of it as simple, but it's so many processes, and it's so layered, and it's layered with our history, it's layered with everything we touch, everything that we feel. It's a layered process. And so I guess that's one of the things that I also really love about the center, like this connecting of people in such a strong way that we learn from each other and teach each other new ways of seeing things. But if you're not building community, then you're not doing the work of an artist, I think. Essentially, the most important bit of our work is to bring other people into the conversation.
Yeah.
And I always feel honored. Every opportunity to bring someone along with me, I'm going to take it. Frida Kahlo writes about existing on one end of the world and thinking that she's the loneliest person ever. And then finding out that no, it's not true. There are other people on this other side of the world who are lonely as well. But I guess as we navigate our worlds, however complex they are, that there is community and there are other people who feel the same way that you do. And I think our work is to connect people. And through this book, we've done that. And I'm so happy that I get to share this honor with someone so close to me and so dear to me as you. Yeah. Because I thought about this book this year and I was like, I don't have the money. I don't have the strength. This book will happen. And this, in October, this book is happening. And it's just a testament to what believing in yourself and trusting other people can do.